the beginning of the road to the Civil War. That's what we'll talk about today, the Compromise of 1820, also called the Missouri Compromise. Alabama was admitted as a state in December of 1820, and that meant that there were now an equal number of slave and free states in the country, 18 and 18. And that meant that the United States Senate was equally divided between slave and free states. The House was overwhelmingly anti-slavery. And as a result of that, the South became obsessed with keeping 50% of the Senate in the hands of slave states. And that overshadowed increasingly every other consideration. And when Jefferson bought the Louisiana Territory in 1803, and that territory came to be inhabited by more and more people, the question came up of what do we do with the new states that are going to be carved out of the Louisiana Purchase? Would they be slave or would they be free? And after a long period of time and real tension, Henry Clay, the compromiser, the Speaker of the House at the time, got an agreement that Missouri would come in as a slave state. A part of Massachusetts would be carved out and become Maine, which would be admitted as a free state, and then a line at the 36th parallel would be drawn out to the Pacific Ocean, and everything south of that would be slave and north of it would be free, except for Missouri, which lay north of it, but it would be slave anyway. And that compromise was passed into law. Thomas Jefferson was very prophetic when he commented on it. He said, "This momentous question is like a fire bell in the night. It awakened and filled me with terror. I considered it at once the knell of the Union. It is hushed for the moment, but this is a reprieve only, not a final sentence. A geographical line coinciding with a marked principle, moral and political, once conceived and held up to the angry passions of men, will never be obliterated, and every new irritation will mark it deeper and deeper." And boy, that was true. That line that first really separated North and South over the issue of slavery eventually led directly to the Civil War. And it really marks the end of the Jefferson domination of domestic policy. You had 8 years of Jefferson, 8 years of Madison, 8 years of Monroe, 24 years of the pro-Republican, anti-monarchic, Jeffersonian values running the country. And that ended in 1824. And the Missouri Compromise was just at the end of it, and really is one of those seams that ushers in an entirely new era of American history. Thanks a lot for watching.